This is amazing. So I am Katie. We are in my home. I'm gonna be cooking chilaquiles today using leftovers from our family meals. So if you don't know, we are now serving family meals. So you can get a bundle pack either delivered to your house, or you can pick them up in the restaurant, or you can get curbside pickup so that you don't even have to walk in. But we are selling these amazing family meals with either chicken or steak, rice, beans. It's got tortillas, chips, and all of our salsas and toppings so that you can make amazing bowls or tacos at home. I think it's a ton of food. It's a great idea if you're just feeding yourself or feeding 2 people or 4 people. They feed up to 5 people, but if you've got leftovers from your family meal, I'm gonna show you one of the fun things that you can do with them, such as chilaquiles. So, chilaquiles are traditionally a breakfast dish, and they were made as a way to use up used old tortillas. In Mexico, tortillas are made fresh every day, and then what do you do when you have extra tortillas? You sort of let them dry out, and then you fry them up, and then you've got tortilla chips. And a great way to use them and sort of rehydrate stale tortilla chips is by adding salsa to them and cooking them. So that's exactly what we're going to do today. Before I show you how to get your chilaquiles ready, I'm going to talk about toppings a little bit. Just because when you do cook chilaquiles, it goes really, really quickly. So this is definitely one of those recipes that you want to have all of your mise en place ready to go before you start. So I am going to top mine off with an egg. So I fried up an egg, and I'm just going to have it sitting on a plate. Fried eggs are something that if you leave them in the pan too long, they cook through. You're gonna want that really beautiful runny yolk all over your crispy chips. And they're totally fine at room temperature. So at your house, I would, if you're gonna do fried eggs, fry your eggs up first and then start on your chilaquiles. So I'm gonna leave mine just at room temperature for a few minutes while we talk this through. And then I've got leftover salsa from my family meal kit. I've got sour cream, shredded cheese, and some chicken. So I'm gonna add chicken to mine. You totally don't have to, it's up to you. But then toppings. I'm gonna top it with some of that sour cream. I'm gonna put a fried egg on top. I have just some fresh cilantro that I'm gonna just tear off and use some cilantro at the end, but totally not necessary. I've got a little bit of avocado that I sliced up. I'm gonna put some avocado slices on top. If you got guacamole in your family meal as an add-on, you can totally put a scoop of guac on top of this. It would be so killer. And then I want to talk about raw onion. This is, again, really all of these toppings for chilaquiles are totally optional, but these are just all of my favorites. So pick the ones you like, or whatever you have in your pantry or at home right now or in your fridge, and do what you will. But chilaquiles in general, it's tortilla chips and salsa. And then generally they put a lot of dairy on top. So usually queso fresco or cotija cheese, and then some sour cream. So it ends up, it's kind of a rich dish. So you want something sort of fresh, you want some crunch and texture to this. So I always like red onion, a little bit of raw red onion. So I'm just gonna take mine, you can't really see very well, I'll come on this side, and I'm gonna slice this really thin. So if you see, I just chopped the 2 ends off, the top and bottom, then I cut it in half. And I really just need a little bit. So I'm gonna use the end of this. So see that little corner piece I just cut off? And I'm just gonna get a couple really thin slices, really, really thin. No one wants huge pieces of raw red onion. And that's really all I need. I'm gonna save this and put it in a Ziploc bag because, hey, times are tough, guys. So then I'm gonna pull apart these onions that I just sliced and throw them in a strainer. This is the really important part. So when you cut into an onion, there is this gas that is created. So when you break the cell walls, this gas is released. And that is the thing that smells like strong raw onion flavor. That is the thing that gives you onion breath. But there's a very easy way to fix that, and it's just rinse it. So a little bit of cold water. I'm literally just, here. That's a bad idea. Okay, I could have just told you I was rinsing it. Sorry guys, I'm new to this. Anyway, I'm just rinsing it. Literally, that's all you have to do. This will be perfect when it's done. And this rule of rinsing onions applies to anything you want to use onions for. So if you're making, I don't know, tuna salad at home and you want to put some shallots or some red onions in it, but you don't want that onion after flavor, just rinse your onions first. It's an incredible trick. Acid also works too. So if you add some vinegar or some lime juice, so pickling it sort of cooks the onion in some way and gets rid of that raw flavor. Okay, that's it for toppings. Let's go to the stove. Hopefully when I move this, it'll go better than last time. All right, we're doing okay. Here we go. I'm gonna set you on top of my coffee maker. Maybe I should answer questions. Anybody's got any questions? Now's a great time. I'm waiting for my pan to heat up. It's pretty warm. I started it before so we could, so you didn't have to wait while my pan warmed. So, chilaquiles. I've got a hot pan. Depending on how much you're doing, you could do this in a smaller pot. It's totally up to you. But you're basically gonna wanna do 1 part stock or water or broth and 1 part salsa. So I have the salsa verde that came in our family kit. I'm gonna add that to my pot. And then some chicken stock, because that's what I have in my house. But you could totally do this with water. Our salsa roja that also comes in the family kit would be fantastic on this. If you are cooking along but you don't have a family kit with you, you can just use jarred salsa that's in your fridge. It's all good. This is one of my favorite recipes to cook because the recipe does not have to be very strict. It's totally one of those great pantry recipes that's like, use what you've got. If you like really spicy, add some fresh chilies in here, add some habaneros. If you had some of our pico left over, you could cook the pico down and add that into this. It would all be fantastic. Now, I have some protein left over from my family meal kit. I have a little bit of our chicken left. So I'm gonna add the chicken into here just to warm it up. You could totally microwave it. And most chilaquiles generally don't have protein. So you can skip this step and just use your fried egg as protein. But if you've got steak, that would be awesome. Our chicken is clearly delicious. So I'm just adding my leftover chicken from the family meal kit straight into my pot. And then I'm just gonna turn this on high and bring this to a simmer. Let's see if anybody has any questions while I'm waiting for that to come up. I guess I can scroll down and look, huh? Remember to stay 6 feet apart. I'm working on it. Thank you very much. Hello? Hi, Zach. How's it going? All right. How hot is the stove when you heat up the salsa? So I have it on high right now, but you could do it at a lower temperature. So what I will do is I'm turning it all the way up to high just to bring it to a boil, and then I'm going to turn it down when I add my chips. So the bottom line is I'm not trying to cook my chips, I'm just trying to get them sauced, but I do want them sauced in a hot sauce. So I'm not really cooking this sauce is really what's happening. I'm just sort of, the salsa is a little bit too thick to do this with, so I'm using water or stock to thin it out, and I'm heating it up. It like literally could not be easier. So I have a simmering pot here now. I'm just going to take a slotted spoon and take my chicken out. Now, again, you do not have to do this. I am doing this because I want to make a fancy presentation for all you friends on the internet. And I think it'll look better if my chicken is on top instead of underneath or mixed in. But if I were serving this to my whole family, I would not do this. This is purely because it's the internet. But hey, you know, we are all cooking a lot right now. We're posting pictures of our food on the Instagram, so think of this as a food step. Okay, so I am just gonna show you my pan real fast, just so you can see what I'm working with. If I knew how to do that. Oh, I do. Okay, so it's really hot and bubbling, so I'm now gonna turn this down. I went from high to like medium here, okay? So that's my pan. And now I'm going to add in my leftover chips from Qdoba, which I just would like a little bit of credit because it was very hard to have Qdoba chips in my house and not eat them for the last day. So congrats to me. So now I just have to work really quickly. I'm gonna have to put this down. I need both hands for this. So I'm gonna work really quickly to stir those chips up. Ooh, okay. Here we go. So something else that I am going to do here at this step that you do not have to do is I have a little bit of our shredded cheese left. I'm gonna add it now. You don't have to. If you don't have any cheese, you don't need to. It's not the most traditional way to serve this dish with cheese anyway, or at least not with cheese mixed in. But I think cheese makes everything better. And right now, while I have this hot, I think now's the time. And it's going to turn my sauce a little bit thicker and a little bit creamier. And who doesn't love that? If for some reason you got our family meal and you did not devour all of your queso on the first night, you could also just drizzle in a little queso right here and it would do the exact same thing, except probably be more delicious because our queso is so darn good. Okay, I'm gonna bring you back over here so you can see what my pot looks like. I'm done. It literally took just that time. So, it's basically a pot of wet chips. Very exciting, I know. But we're gonna make it exciting now. So, hold on. Okay. So, I'm bringing my pot over. And I'm gonna serve this into a bowl. Just ladle this in. I still have some sauce on the bottom. So what I'll probably do is do a big pile of chips and then ladle a little bit more of that sauce over the top of that. That's pretty normal. But like I said, the most important thing is that this has to go quickly because these chips just get soggier and soggier and soggier as they sit. Okay, so I've got my bowl full of my dressed chips. I've got my chicken that I warmed up. I'm just gonna spoon that over the top. Ta-da! Then I have my fried egg. My fried egg is going right over the top of that. Whoa. All right, so then my last few garnishes. I have some sour cream left over from my family meal. I'm just going to dollop that all over. I have some cotija cheese. Obviously, this is totally optional, but it just looks really pretty. I have a couple slices of avocado. I'm just gonna take those 2 slices. I already sliced them because like I said, you've gotta have your mise en place ready for this because my chips are getting soggier by the second. I have a couple of my rinsed red onion, couple slivers. I'm just gonna toss that over. The other thing I love about the red onion is that it just adds like a bright pop of pink and purple color to your entree. Okay, and then I have a little bit of cilantro. I'm just gonna tear off a couple leaves. Again, super optional, but I think it's done and I think it's beautiful and I think it's gonna be delicious. Here you go, guys. What do you think? Super easy, right? Anybody could do this. You can do this with whatever's in your house. That's all I got. Let me see if anybody's got any questions. Is there a tip to not breaking all the chips when you stir it? That's a great question. Bottom line is no, but it doesn't really matter. You are gonna be eating this. It just looks prettier if you're not breaking them up. But I would say the tool that you're gonna use to stir it is kind of smart. So I used this spatula that's sort of soft and wide. I think using something that's got a little bit more give to it is better because then you can sort of fold your chips in as opposed to stirring them really firmly. Does that make sense? So I would go with like soft folding motions. That's sort of my tip. But the bottom line is if you do break all your chips, it totally doesn't matter. They're gonna taste exactly the same. All right, awesome. Well, thank you guys so much. The recipe is gonna be up. Thank you for tuning in. Tune in next week. We're gonna be making something else delicious next week. Hope you're all doing well at home and stay safe. See ya.